It was the summer and I had just graduated from college. To celebrate, I decided to take a solo camping trip to the Adirondacks. I had been camping before, but never alone, and never in such a remote area. I found a spot near a small lake, where the only sounds were the lapping of water against the shore and the occasional call of a loon. The first couple of days were peaceful, filled with hiking and swimming. But on the third night, things changed. I woke up to the sound of someone or something searching around my campsite. I figured it was just a raccoon or a bear, so I stayed in my tent, clutched my knife, and waited for it to pass. But then I heard a voice, a low, mumbling voice that couldn't possibly belong to an animal. I gathered up the courage to peek outside, and in the dim light of my dying fire, I saw a figure searching through my belongings. It was a man, untidy and messed up, having an expression of fear, anger, and panic in his eyes. He didn't see me at first, so I watched in silence as he took my food and gear. When he turned and our eyes met, my heart stopped. There was a moment where neither of us moved, then he lunged towards the tent. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to scramble out the other side and run into the woods. I spent the rest of that night hiding under a fallen tree, listening to him call out for me in a sing-song voice. As soon as dawn broke, I made my way back to the society, reporting what happened to the park rangers. They never found the man, but they did find my campsite torn apart. The rangers told me that there had been reports of a man who had disconnected from society years ago living off the grid in the area. They suspected he might have been the one at my campsite, driven by hunger or desperation. I couldn't help but wonder about him, about what drove a man to abandon everything and live in such isolation. And there was a part of me that felt guilty for invading his space, even though I was the one who had been terrified and threatened. For months after, I had nightmares where I was back at that lake, trapped in my tent as his shadow appeared over me. The experience shook me to my core, challenging my love for the wilderness. It took me a long time to go camping again, and when I did, it was never alone. That encounter in the Adirondacks taught me a valuable lesson about respecting nature. Not just the land and animals, but also the humans who might call it home. And it reminded me that sometimes the most frightening stories are the ones that could very well be true.